Hi, 8th grade. I hope you're doing well this week. And you're going to have 2 grammar sections this week, and this is your first one. And we're starting a new unit this week, which is adjectives. Okay, so just like all your units, it always starts off with just the basics. So for this one, we're just finding adjectives. Okay, so if you look at number 1 up at the top, it gives you your definition that adjectives can only modify nouns and pronouns. That's it. Okay, so remember that. If it's an adjective, it can only modify a noun or a pronoun. And then underneath it, it gives you the questions that adjectives answer. Okay, so they give you what kind, like what kind of student? A diligent student. How many? So if it has a number, 5 cupcakes. How many cupcakes? 5. And then it has which one. So it says this course, that course, this book, okay? And then how much, and so this gives you the example, sufficient time. How much time? Sufficient. And then the last one, it has 2, so it says whose. So you can have like her book, his book, their book, and you can also have like names, or it says children's books. When you see that apostrophe S added on to the end of a noun, then it changes it to an adjective. Okay, so whose trophy? Allison's. Okay, and then number 2, it talks about most adjectives come before the words that they modify. Okay, so it says most adjectives come before the words that they modify, just like up here, okay? But number 2 gives you examples that are exceptions, okay? So you have this one, which is a predicate adjective. We've had that before, okay? So predicate adjectives follow linking verbs, all right? So remember, that's why they're called linking verbs. They link something, which is your adjective, in the predicate to your subject, the noun. So that's one example of when you can have an adjective after the noun it modifies. So if it follows a linking verb and is a predicate adjective. So it'll go back and modify your subject. The other one is if you have appositives. So they'll follow the noun. It says Brandon, comma, hot and sweaty, comma, came in from mowing the lawn. So remember, not every time, but a lot of times, appositives can have commas around it. So let that be a sign for you or to make it easier to look for. Commas, okay? And then if you look at number 3, can you have several words or several adjectives modifying the same word? Absolutely. I've seen sentences that have 5 or 6 adjectives modifying the same noun. That's totally possible. Some can come before the noun and after. And then for number 4, don't forget those small words, a, an, and the. They're article adjectives, okay? So remember, a, an, and the can also be adjectives. And then underneath there, you have participles and infinitives. So we've had these before with verbals, okay? So remember, participles and infinitives look like verbs, but they're not used as verbs. Participles, your 2 most common endings are ing and ed, and they're used as adjectives, okay? So the crying baby. And then your last one, infinitive, that's the to plus a verb, to visit, okay? What kind of place? To visit, all right? So you can have those as well. So I'm going to do a few with you. You have a few. Start here on 166, and then we'll go on to the next page. But remember, you only have to do exercise A for this section, okay? So if you look at your directions, okay, it tells you to underline all of your adjectives. Notice here, it says except your articles a, an, and the. So in this exercise, you do not have to underline those. Now, remember, yes, they are adjectives, but in this exercise, you don't have to worry about underlining them, okay? So underline your adjectives except the articles. Include verbals. That means your participles and your infinitives, okay? And then draw your arrow to the noun or pronoun that they modify, okay? So remember, yes, you could have 3 or 4 arrows going to the same noun or pronoun. That's totally feasible or plausible. That can happen. So let's look at one. The crashing waves thundered along the glistening white sand of the California beach. So we're looking for adjectives that modify nouns. So let's look through here. We got crashing. So we ask ourselves, what's crashing? Waves are. There's your arrow. Any other ones? Glistening is telling you what kind of sand. And then white is also telling you what kind of sand. And let's read all the way to the end. Now, if we look at California here, our mind usually goes straight to noun because it's a place. But here it's telling you what kind of beach, okay? Number 2, the orange butterfly flitted among the yellow tulips and white daisies. So, orange is telling you what kind of butterfly. We have lots of colors in this one. Yellow is telling you what kind of tulips. And white is telling you what kind of daisies. Very nice. We go to our next page here. Make sure you can see it all, okay? All right, number 3. The ominous thunderclouds gave way to a beautiful rainbow in the afternoon sky. So, ominous is telling us what kind of thunderclouds. Keep reading. Beautiful is what kind of rainbow. And then afternoon, what does that tell you? What kind of sky? Number 4. The library books to return in the morning are on the oak table by the front door. All right, so library, it's not a place here. It's telling you what kind of books. Here we have to plus a verb, to return. Okay, so what are you going to return? Books. So your arrow will go there. Keep reading. Oh, here we go. Oak is telling you what kind of table. And then front is telling you what kind of door. Number 5, the crying child was soothed by his gentle mother. So what kind of child do we have? Crying. So draw your arrow there. Soothe is your verb. Keep going. All right. We have gentle is telling you what kind of mother. And we also have his is telling you whose mother. Very good. Couple more. Number 6, sprinkling salt on the gooey mess caused by the broken eggs makes cleanup easier. All right. So gooey, telling you what kind of mess. Okay. Keep reading. Got one more in there. Broken, telling you what kind of eggs. Very good. If you thought about easier, remember, that's modifying a verb. So that's an adverb. So we just want words that modify nouns or pronouns. All right, number 7. Our loving Lord died for unrighteous men. So, ours telling you who's Lord. Loving is what kind of Lord. We have one more. Unrighteous, what kind of men. All right, and those are your adjectives. You have the remaining few sentences here. Remember, if you're doing this exercise and you find a sentence you have a question about, don't hesitate to text me or shoot me an email.